In the tunnel.
In the tunnel.
In the tunnel. You're listening to In the Tunnel.
Hello and welcome to In the Tunnel, March Madness edition, where we see what the wheel has divined for the round of 32.
Yes, this is your pre-recorded edition, um, which is where you would have thought that maybe that would have been something we did, during a pandemic or like a couple years ago. But this show has always been remote status, so um, doesn't really change anything.
Yeah, so as you can see, the wheel has already graced us with its choices, and let's just see, starting with our West, who has reigned supreme.
Right. So in the West region, in the 1 versus 16 of Florida State versus Cleveland State, the underdog does prevail. It was Cleveland State coming out with a win.
Yep,
Um, so you'll see in this show we have a little bit of. I mean, it's always random draw when it comes to the wheel,
yep.
but uh,
Um,
actually maybe not as random this year as it has been in prior years. So.
I mean, yeah, I think there was a little like it was weird when we were looking at what the choices were, how we saw some patterns develop. Anyway, the 8-9 matchup, Coastal Carolina won that one.
Yes,
Uh,
the first 8 seed of the tournament, 8-9 game, the 8 seed prevails. And I think what we'll find to be a storyline in this, but moving on in the 5-12 matchup of West Virginia versus Southeastern Louisiana, we again have an underdog of Southeastern Louisiana moving on.
yep. And the round out the first four, the 4 and 13 matchup has Alabama A&M moving on.
So to recap, we have the 16 seed, the 8 seed, the 12 seed, and the 4 seed.
Yeah,
Underdog favorite, underdog favorite. That indeed was not the case moving down the bracket when we look at the 6 and the 11 seed matchup of Oregon State and Omaha.
yeah. So,
Omaha was the winner of the play-in
yep.
matchup, and they played, what was it, Middle Tennessee,
No,
Eastern Illinois.
no. Middle Tennessee and Eastern Illinois played each other later.
Okay, so yeah. Anyway, it was Oregon State, the 6 seed, moving on despite their absolutely atrocious record.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so they'll be meeting with another Pac-12 team of Stanford, the 3 seed, who were able to take down North Carolina A&T.
Yeah. And then we have in Northwestern versus Kansas. Kansas takes it home as the 10 seed, the underdog. Forever ruining our hopes that we would get a Northeastern versus Northwestern championship.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that. That was the one storyline we really were going to try to hold on to, and despite our ability to want to hold on to things, we really don't actually try to. And I just want to, before we move on from this, Oregon State and Stanford are two of the four worst teams in the Pac 12, and they will be playing each other in the round of 32.
Yep. And
Yeah.
Kansas is one of the best teams overall, and they're the 10 seed. They got to the round of 32.
I,
And
Kansas has more wins than Oregon State and Stanford combined because Oregon State has 3 wins.
yeah. Yep. And then Rutgers surprisingly pulls it out in the Wheels bracket, where they kind of crash and burn in the other one.
Well, I don't know about crash and burn in the other one. They did go to overtime, but
But they still burned.
yeah, I mean, anytime you lose to Notre Dame in a sport that isn't football, that is considered a burn of some sorts.
Yeah.
Mostly because, like, I'm sure Notre Dame is good at other sports, but you really want to be able to say that you beat them because they're that much worse compared to their football program.
Yep. So yeah, rounding it out. So we have 6, 3, 10, and 2. Uh, two favorites, an underdog, and a favorite to round out this section of the round of 32.
Yep. So it'll be interesting to see. Now we get the actually unlike other years, we have a quadrant or a region, if you will, that has some Power Five presence. Um, Not so much in the top half of the bracket, but all of the bottom half.
Yeah.
And so
All
we'll
right.
we'll see what that means going forward.
If it means anything, you never know.
Well, I mean, there is also the thought process too. Half of the teams are that are of Power Five presence are going to be gone, and then that will be reduced to one before they play. It's basically mid-major versus major
Yep.
as it gets to the round of 8.
Yep. All right. So now we can dive into the East, where Cincinnati and Eastern Illinois was out of this play-in, who played against Middle Tennessee.
Yes, and Eastern Illinois wins their playing matchup only to fall to the number 1 seed of Cincinnati. They will be meeting the 8-seeded Detroit Mercy after
Who?
their 8-seed win
Yep.
over Texas Tech, our second 8-seed in a row that won and moved on,
Yeah. Followed by East Carolina beating Campbell for our second 12 seed in a row. Moving
and
on.
make it 3 in a row because the 4th-seeded North Dakota also move on. Not to
Oh.
be outdone by the 4th in a row, Delaware, the 6th seed, also moving on.
And then we finally have a change.
And then we finally have a change.
Yeah. So, North Dakota, with its higher seed but surprisingly low record, takes out Jacksonville State. Maybe a surprise to me and you, but not the wheel.
Correct. I mean, there is no surprising the wheel. The wheel is very simplistic in its approach.
Yeah, and then Delaware at 19-12 beats Dayton at 21-9. Again, no surprising the wheel. Maybe a little to us.
Correct. Although Delaware did make the tournament in real life too.
Yeah.
So
All right. And then at the 3-14, we have an upset with Marist beating St. Peter's.
yes, Marist beating the actual Cinderella story in real life, St. Peter's, which until this very moment I did not know was in our bracket. I handed Sean the logos for these graphics, and I forgot completely that they were a team that we had put in our wheel. Which, by the way, the fact that we had both Delaware and St. Peter's and Rutgers and Kansas and Wake Forest, and I have to go back through the other.
We'll go through.
Normally, we have very few teams in here that
I
are
think
actually in
the
the
last
tournament.
2 times we only had 2 teams that made it. Yeah,
Anyway,
so we'll
we'll keep
go
going.
and we'll see the others that may have made it in the next few rounds. But let's continue with number 7 losing to number 10 Canisius. Um, Anything to say about that one, Jeremy?
Sorry, I'm in La La Land over here. Yeah, I mean 7 to 10.
Close
There's a
enough.
lot of close enough.
Yeah, figures. And then a big upset in Arkansas State taking out Wake Forest in the first round.
Yes, absolutely. Another 15 to go down. In theory, that is a crazy thing to happen, but as we can see this year, maybe not so much. So here we are looking at that again and wondering what could have been.
Yeah, so again, we have the 1 seed for the first time making it in Cincinnati, 8, 12, 14, and 6 all making it again. Or 8, 12, 4, and 6, sorry. And then 14, Marist upsetting, Canisius upsetting, and Arkansas State upsetting. All right, so let's take a look at the left side of the bracket with the South, where Seattle won it. Did Seattle? Seattle had its play-in game and won,
Correct.
only to lose to Sacred Heart
Sacred Heart.
immediately.
Yes, immediately. Another 1 seed taking the crown and completely irrelevant, but I have come up with the total. So far, we are at 6 teams in the real life tournament that are in ours as well, which is not bad when we're, 32 teams in?
Yeah.
Because normally we bat around 3 for 64. So to
Yeah,
have
something
6
like
at
that. 2 or
32 is
3 for
pretty good.
64. Yep.
And
Yeah,
and that
so
number then improves to 7 as our first 9 seed of the tournament prevails. The Providence Friars beating Nichols,
yep.
and I believe Nichols itself was in the real tournament this year, at least in the playing game.
That counts. I mean, we
Nope,
had 68 teams, you know.
nope, they were in the NIT. Never mind. All right, but USC brings us another team, and that brings us up to 8 because they are the 12 seed that takes down the 5 seed in Nevada.
Yeah, followed by Troy, another 4 seed making it through, this time against Idaho at 13. Oh yeah. I think this
3
is
straight 4 seeds.
yeah, 12 and 4 has been pretty good. It looks like
Pretty good.
8 has been handed its first loss.
But
Um
yep.
I don't think a
But
play-in team has won yet.
not yet, but we do have our third straight 6 seed to win.
Oh yeah.
With UC Santa Barbara taking the winner of the matchup against Northeastern. Again, I never had a chance to live our dream of Northeastern versus Northwestern.
Yep.
Both times that possibility was squashed immediately.
Yeah, and then following is we have Hampton beating Louisville, the
Yes,
3
the
seed
3 seed.
prevailing for this time.
And then to finish off, the 7 seeded Southern Illinois was able to take down UMBC, the 10 seed. So the 7 seeded Southern Illinois will meet Ole Miss out of the SEC and beating Dartmouth of the Ivy League, the 15 seed.
Yep. So yeah, so again, no play-in team has won yet. We have Sacred Heart, our second 1 seed to move forward. Providence, our first 9 seed. 12, 4, and 6 are going strong. 3 seed has taken it back along with 7, and the 2 seed has redeemed itself apparently.
Apparently so. Although at the very same time, there's a lot of favorites going on here overall. And
Yeah,
eventually, favorites are going to have to fall. But we had a bracket here where 2 of the, 6, 8 matchups,
yeah,
only 2 of them up being an upset, at least for a wheel based deciding,
yeah,
pretty favorable for
yeah.
those who wear the home colors.
Yeah, so on to our last quadrant, where the 11 seed was the play-in for this one. Anyway, on to Charleston Southern and Montana State. We have 16 winning again, so this confirms our theory where the 16th seed can't be a play-in to win its first match.
Correct. And in that sense, Montana State moves on.
Yep.
But they'll be playing the third of 4 8 seeds. That is Coppin State, who was able to fend off mighty Evansville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Following them, the 12 seed reigns supreme again with Wofford. We know you
Yeah.
didn't like to see that.
Nope, never do. But at the very same time, Wofford probably more of a deserving team than others in this tournament. They will be playing and likely losing to. I'm calling my shot here. Likely losing to UCLA, which is our ninth accurate team in the division or in the tournament.
And also, the 4 seed reigning supreme in this one.
Yes, the 4 seed UCLA. And they actually were able to fend off our 10th accurate team, Colgate. We had Colgate as a 13 seed. The tournament committee in real life had Colgate as a 14 seed.
Pretty damn good.
Pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. Not bad at all for us.
Yeah. Following Syracuse versus the play-in team Fordham, which beat Maine, I'm pretty sure.
Sure.
Um, yeah. So the first and only play-in team to win, I'm also pretty sure in
Much like
Fordham.
real life. Much like real life. You get a play-in or two to win.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they'll be playing the 3 seeded Marquette, Marquette being our 11th accurate team. Marquette in real life was a 9 seed. This one, they're a 3 seed. We'll see if they can beat 11 seeded Fordham. And in the lower four, we'll have the 10th seeded UAB, our 12th team that was
Yep.
actually in the tournament. They will have played Kent State, and not only did they play Kent State, they beat Kent State, and that prize means a trip to Rio de Janeiro, or not Rio de Janeiro, jeez.
Rio de Janeiro.
They're
Yeah, I
going
don't think
all
so.
the Midwest. The Midwest region is all the way to the Mideast now. They're going to play Texas Rio Grande, the 2 seed, which was able to hold off the 15th seeded Niagara.
Yep. So, just a quick recap. So here we have our full bracket. Um, so Cleveland State, Coastal Carolina, Southeast Louisiana, Alabama A&T, Oregon
A&M.
State, Stanford, Kansas, and Rutgers were from the West.
Mm-hmm.
We have Cincy, Detroit Mercy, East Carolina, North Dakota, Delaware, Marist, Canisius, and Arkansas State from the East. And then we had Sacred Heart, Providence, USC, Troy, UC Santa Barbara, Hampton, Southern Illinois, and Ole Miss from the South.
I just want to say real quick, most of our teams in the East region are actually like pretty East.
Yeah.
For a wheel deciding that, we actually did a pretty good job there.
You mean the wheel did a pretty good job?
Sure. I mean, in real life, the NCAA tournament committee, I think, establishes it so that the higher seeds have less travel. So for us to have a 1 seed that's Cincinnati, that's a pretty fucking strong thing. And a 2 seed of Wake Forest, 3 seed of St. Peter's. All three of those meet the criteria.
Yeah. And then finally, we had Montana State, Coppin State, Wofford, UCLA, Furman, Marquette, UT Rio Grande.
Yes, UT Rio de Janeiro Grande.
Yeah. So, and UAB, did I miss? Yeah, UAB, I missed.
Yeah,
So, yeah, again, here's the bracket as we see it now. Next time, we'll see the
we'll
round of
see the round of 8
32 to see
every. Go
who's
ahead.
in the 16 teams, along with a return to slightly more regularly scheduled programming.
Yes, and not only that, just remember if you are a fan of college basketball and major names in college basketball, likely the next time you see this bracket, most of the teams you're familiar with are probably going to be gone. That's
Oh
just how
yeah.
it works. Unfortunately, when you play the randomized choice game, you don't have a lot of options.
You either have they're here or they're gone. Not in
But you know
between.
what? It helps you learn for next year's real tournament that maybe, just maybe, some of the teams that you heard of through this show are actually not the dog shit that you thought.
Oh
Because
boy.
it works for St. Peter's.
Yeah, apparently. All right, well, again, thanks for tuning in and catch you next time.